All right, there we go. Had to get my audio taken care of. Shout out to everybody in the stream. It's the Resistance. Appreciate y'all rocking out with me and dealing with my raggedy intro. But as I say, it is what it is. But we're here to talk about today, ladies and gentlemen, and the phone number is right there on the screen, so you can call in at any time to talk about piece of shit Ed Troyer. Ed Troyer from out of Pierce County. Tacoma is the town, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? We all know what he did. You know, he did that piece of shit move to the newspaper man who didn't do anything to anybody. He was just trying to feed his family and take care of his bills. That's all he was trying to do, feed his family and take care of his bills. And, you know, you got piece of shit Ed Troyer, ladies and gentlemen, who decides to fuck with him. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Vicky Glenn, Simon Reyes, Clayton Nelson, Perfect Sense Resistor, Smokes Loud, Daniel Garcia, my man, Knowledge Young, Bama Cam, Kenny Powers, George Curious. Now, this wasn't scheduled, ladies and gentlemen, so I might fumble over my words just a little bit because I was just looking over Ed Troyer and I got such a huge response from everybody of the upload that I put up about Ed Troyer on YouTube and Facebook as well. I got a huge response, so I decided, well, let's go live on it. Shout out to Mike Hairston. Let's go live on it. And not only that, y'all could call in. That's the phone number right there on the screen, 857-217-4031. We're going to have a sound off on this piece of shit, Ed Troyer. Let's have a sound off on him. So here we go right here. This is Ed Troyer right here, ladies and gentlemen. 1 second. And let's get into the official capacity side of things about Ed Troyer first. Let's get into the official capacity side of things. Meet your sheriff, and this is Pierce County in the state of Washington. Shout out to all my Washingtonians. Shout out to all my folks from Tacoma. Tacoma's first for me. Out of the whole state of Washington, Tacoma comes first for me. And this is why I'm highlighting the situation of Ed Troyer, because he did some messed up shit. All right? But this is the official capacity side of things of Ed Troyer. Sheriff Troyer was elected sheriff of Pierce County in November 2020, following the retirement of his mentor and longtime sheriff, Paul Pastor. As sheriff, he leads 356 law enforcement deputies, 302 corrections deputies, and 94 professional staff members who proudly serve and protect over 450,000 residents of unincorporated Pierce County, Washington. Sheriff Troyer has served with the Pierce County Sheriff's Department since 1985, with previous assignments including patrol deputy in Lakewood, University Place, and the Peninsula Detachment. He also held several special assignments including Community Support Team, Crime Stoppers, Burglary Reduction Team, and FBI Gang Task Force, where he received special commissions from the DEA and FBI. He was later promoted to detective and was appointed as the Sheriff's Department's Public Information Officer from 1999 to 2020. Sheriff Troyer spent much of his career as one of the foremost public information officers in the region. He represented the Sheriff's Department in the media by informing the community of the department's efforts and concerns in circumstances of crisis. He was instrumental in producing the Sheriff's Report for cable television and in hosting the AM radio talk show Cop Talk, as well as coordinating appearances on the national television shows Cops and Jail, and the local show Washington's Most Wanted. This piece of shit, he done appeared on all the top cop. He's been on all the top cop boards, floorboards, all around. He's been on Cops. He's been on to show jail. He's been on several units, the FBI Gang Task Force, Community Support Team, Crime Stoppers, Burglary Reduction. He's been on all the top floorboards of law enforcement. All right, Sheriff Troy has been recognized with a Medal of Merit 5 times in his career, as well as a life-saving award, 2 Patrol Impact Awards, and an Excellence in Traffic Safety Award from the Washington Traffic Safety Commission. He has been involved in numerous community projects, including Toys for Tots, Mission to Mexico, Law Enforcement Youth Camp, Groove Music for Youth, Charlie's Dinosaurs, Special Olympics, and the Foster Parents Association of Washington. At the time of his election, Sheriff Troyer was the executive director at Crime Stoppers, a member of the TAPCO Credit Union Board of Directors, and a commissioner with the Washington State Gambling Commission. I just spilled a little water talking about this, reading this piece of shit's credit report. So give me a second. Drop a little water near my station. And you know how that could go. All right, but we want to get back into this piece of shit because we ain't done. We are not done. Turn this music up a little bit. Stand by. Give me at least 30 seconds. All right, I'm back. Let me wipe this up real quick. Appreciate y'all. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Gotta make sure this thing is straight. Like I said, this wasn't planned, so I'm fumbling a little bit on the technical issues, and the delivery. But staying with me, I do have everything formatted as far as what y'all need to see. So we're back on Sheriff Troyer, okay? And this is work report all the way back from '85, and it's not a blemish on it, okay? Top cop, Tacoma, Pierce County, Washington State. So what people don't like to talk about is something that he likes to get into very heavy, and I wouldn't put it past him if he gets into it while he's on duty. But this place right here, 26 in Highland Street, El Toro Mexican Restaurant and Cantina. This is his watering hole. This is where he likes to get drunk. And if any of you are familiar with the incident that happened with him in the newspaper carrier, when he made the report on 911 call, he sounded a little slurish. Okay, it was a little So I just wanted to highlight that, from my reports from people that I'm close to in Tacoma, they've gave me a string of reports on how he's a fucking alcoholic. And this is the spot right here, El Toro's. Okay? We're going to put it on blast. We're going to show where it is. There you go, right there. Favorite watering spot, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? This is where he likes to get tipsy at. This place right here. All right? This is 26 in Highland, Tacoma, Washington. This is the most hated piece of shit in the area, and pretty soon in America. El Toro Mexican Restaurant and Cantina, ladies and gentlemen. That's his spot right there. That's where he likes to get down with the liquor. Oh, yeah. So, moving right along. Oh, Joyce Holland, ladies and gentlemen, she did a highlight on Ed Troyer about this whole situation of him facing the $5 million lawsuit, and she wanted to add her little 2 cents of how she knows him personally.
Alzheimer's filed a $5 million suit against Pierce County and Sheriff Ed Troyer. And full disclosure, as many of you know, I grew up in Tacoma, and Ed Troyer and I were classmates at Woodrow Wilson High School. We graduated in the same class. Over the past 2 weeks, I have asked him multiple times to sit down with us. He has declined repeated requests for an interview. Late this afternoon, his attorney sent King 5 a statement saying in part that Troyer did nothing wrong and that he never threatened the man. We expect that a jury will see that Sheriff Troyer did what we would want any of our neighbors to do, and we look forward to his vindication. If convicted.
So Joyce pointed out that she went to Woodrow Wilson High School with him, and they actually changed that name because of the whole Woodrow Wilson racist situation that came to light not too long ago. It's not even called Woodrow Wilson no more. I wish Joyce would speak about that situation a little bit more, how it was like going to Woodrow Wilson High School back in the 60s, late 60s, early 70s. I know that could have been a rough situation, but she did point out that she and Ed Troyer went to the same high school together.
High school, we graduated in the same class. Over the past 2 weeks, I have asked him multiple times to sit down with us. He has declined repeated requests for an interview. Late this afternoon, his attorney sent King 5 a statement saying in part that Troyer did nothing wrong and that he never threatened the man. We expect that a jury will see that Sheriff Troyer did what we would want any of our neighbors to do, and we look forward to his vindication.
He never threatened the man, nor did he display a firearm. We expect that a jury will see that Sheriff Troyer did what we would want any of our neighbors to do, and we look forward to his vindication. What I want to know is, did the lawyers pull all the door cams from out the neighborhood to show that this motherfucker was cruising down the street in his vehicle, tossing newspapers left to right like he always do every night? Okay? We need to show that because we're not going to believe, and we don't want the jury to believe, that Ed Troyer had no idea who this man was. Okay? That's not going to fly. All right? And he's talking about, no, he didn't pull a firearm or anything on him. No, but what he did was a thing called SWAT. Okay? He swatted him. All right? He called the police, said, okay, we're going to get into it. We're going to break it. I got the 911 call, or the backup 911 call, because he didn't call the official 911. He called the backup joint. And that's kind of funny, too. But we're going to get into that a little bit later. We're going to listen to that. But, we expect that a jury will see that Sheriff Troyer did what we would want any of our neighbors to do, and we look forward to his vindication. And that's John Sheeran, attorney representing Troyer. Of course, he's going to say that. You can't get mad with him because that's what he's supposed to say. He's trying to make his money. He really doesn't care about what's going on. He cares about that money. Money comes first. He's going to represent anybody that's going to put that money in front of him. All right, moving along. What we got going on? Once again, his favorite watering hole, ladies and gentlemen. All right, this is 26 in Highland. Favorite watering hole. That's where he drinks at. That's where he throwing back at, right there. Piece of shit. Ed Troyer, America's most hated piece of shit, right here, ladies and gentlemen. So, not only does he just, violate this man's rights by calling the police on him for not committing any crime, okay? Police draw their guns, they question him. He's the newspaper carrier. He's been on that route for years. Now all of a sudden he got to put up with this shit from Ed Troyer. So not only does the man has to go through that, but in recent news, court issues no contract order against Sheriff Ed Troyer, citing unlawful harassment of black newspaper carrier. He's still fucking with him. He is still fucking with him, ladies and gentlemen. So let's get into it. It says, a Pierce County judge Monday issued an anti-harassment order against Pierce County Sheriff Ed Troyer, requiring him to stay 1,000 feet from a black newspaper carrier for 1 year, citing continued incidents of unlawful harassment. Shout out to Mike Jones. The ruling came in a virtual hearing on whether to extend a temporary anti-harassment order that had been filed last month by an attorney for Cedric Altimer, the newspaper carrier who is suing Troyer and Pierce County over a highly publicized confrontation on January 27, 2021. And he's suing them for $5 million. $5 million. A lot of people say there's going to be some discrepancies within that lawsuit because a lot of people believe that the police treated him fairly due to the call. And this is why a lot of people are stressing that everything should be held on Ed Troyer's back. Okay, the accountability should come from him for what he's done because he's the cause, he's the root of this situation. In issuing the ruling Monday, Pierce County District Court Pro Tem Judge Christine Chen cited a course of conduct of unlawful harassment, referring to multiple incidents in recent months in which Altimer said Troyer followed him in his unmarked SUV, circling around and flashing his lights as he delivered newspapers in Tacoma. Considering the power that an individual like Sheriff Troyer holds, the anxiety and the harassment is going to have an impact on someone like Mr. Altimer, said Chen, who referred to Troyer creating an intended effect by trolling the neighborhood and tailing Altimer late at night. So some related issues right here. Judge orders Pierce County Sheriff Ed Troyer to post a $100,000 bail, finds him a substantial danger after anti-harassment order. Wow. Pierce County investigation report. Sheriff Ed Troyer violated policies in encounter with newspaper carrier. Court issues no contract order against Sheriff Ed Troyer, citing unlawful harassment of black newspaper carrier. Appearing with his attorney, Vonda Sargent, Altimer testified under oath Monday about the encounters, saying he was left fearful by the continued contacts with Pierce County's top law enforcement officer. He tearfully said he was giving up his newspaper delivery job because I don't feel safe anymore. Troyer did not initially show up for the hearing, but he was summoned by the judge. His attorney, John Sheeran, said Troyer would not be offering any testimony because of criminal charges pending against him. Sheeran disputed Altimer's claims of harassment, saying at the hearing that Troyer had encountered him only once since the January 2021 incident. Why would he bring that up? Come on. He already got it in the bag, and I'm speaking about Altimer. Why would he even mention some extra shit that didn't happen if it happened? You understand what I'm saying? It happened. It had to happen. This dude ain't out here bothering Troyer from the jump. Troyer was fucking with him. It is unfortunate that today the pro-term judge decided to take the word of a person highly motivated by a pending civil lawsuit over a public servant with 37 years of dedicated service. Exactly what I just said. Why would he bring it up when he already got a lawsuit going on? There's no reason for him to add anything extra. His rights was already violated. Sheeran said in an email statement after the judge's order, Sheriff Troyer will continue to serve the public as he was elected to do so. He looks forward to a jury vindicating him. Troyer has faced criticism and calls for his resignation over his early morning January 27, 2021 encounter with Altimer, who was delivering newspapers on his regular route, saying he believed Altimer was acting suspiciously. Troyer tailed him in his personal unmarked SUV, not identifying himself as law enforcement. The two wound up in a standoff in a quiet West Tacoma intersection, and Troyer called in a massive police response, repeatedly telling an emergency dispatcher that Altimer had threatened to kill him, which is a lie. Come on, I'm saying it's a lie. You ain't gotta believe me. Wasn't no cameras rolling when Troyer said this was said, but I'm saying it's a lie. Okay, what I'm really saying is this: Ed Troyer was coming from this place right here. Okay, he's already top cop in Pierce County. Tacoma is his stomping grounds, and this is where he was coming from. And he felt like some shit. He wanted to smoke. That's what I'm saying. But you ain't gotta believe me. That's just the way I put it together. Okay. So, in October, Troyer was charged with criminal misdemeanor counts of false reporting and making a false or misleading statement to a public servant over the incident. He has pleaded not guilty and called the charges brought by State Attorney General's office a politically motivated anti-cop hit. A trial in that case was originally set for July, but has been pushed to October. Attorneys representing Alzheimer filed a legal claim against Pierce County last June, seeking at least $5 million in damages. A federal civil lawsuit seeking such damages is on hold pending the outcome of the criminal case. Separately, an investigation commissioned by the Pierce County Council, conducted by former U.S. Attorney Brian Moran, found Troyer's conduct had violated policies on bias-free policing and other professional standards. Troyer in October also was placed on Pierce County's Brady list. Oh, wow! That's a bonus, ladies and gentlemen. Please share this. I knew nothing about this. Troyer in October also was placed on Pierce County's Brady list, a roster of law enforcement officers with credibility problems that could impact their ability to serve as witnesses in criminal cases. And y'all, they want this dude to be sheriff for the next couple years. Okay, this dude is supposed to be, I don't know if he won already as sheriff. I'll have to look in the chat to find out. But I know he was running for sheriff again. Or he was trying to hold that seat even with this, lawsuit pending or whatever. But this is who you want in position, Tacoma. As the top sheriff of Pierce County. This is who you want to have governing your streets. He's on the Brady list, goddammit. How much more do y'all need? This is crazy. The new anti-harassment order takes the place of a temporary one filed last month, which required Troyer to stay 500 feet from Alzheimer. In a petition filed last month in support of the anti-harassment order, Alzheimer wrote that Troyer had repeatedly driven by me in the most recent encounter at around 3 a.m. in the morning of May 14th. And the only reason why Alzheimer is out there at 3 a.m. in the morning is because he's on his newspaper route. Okay? That was in addition to similar encounters in April and one last November he ruled. All this is recent. April, June. I am a young black man, and I know I will not be given the benefit of the doubt if Sheriff Troyer is able to convince other officers that I am a threat to his safety, Alzheimer rule. I fear that he is setting me up for a scenario for him to either kill me or have me arrested. Hey, listen, he's going through paranoia right now. That's the reason why he got the lawsuit in. Okay? Violating his civil rights. Look what he's going through. It's pain and suffering. And now he's seeing the dude again. After he done put the lawsuit in, Troyer is tailing him while he's on his route delivering newspapers. So no wonder he didn't shit on himself. In a statement on behalf of Troyer on Monday, Sharon stated that Troyer has no desire to have any contact with Mr. Alzheimer whatsoever. Yeah, I bet. He would tell the officials that. But see, his whole point of following him around is to intimidate him. That's his whole point of following him around. It's just to intimidate him, ladies and gentlemen. Listen, if y'all want to call in and comment on this dude, Ed Troyer from out of Pierce County, Washington State, his stomping grounds is Tacoma. He liked to drink right here. This is where he loves to drink at El Toro Restaurant, North 26 and Highland. This is his drinking spot right here. This is where he likes to get down at with the drinks. All right. And I'm pretty sure that before he ran into Mr. Alzheimer, this is where he was coming from. I guarantee it. They say that man drink from sun up to sundown. Say it ain't a drink he don't like. I'm just saying, that's what I heard. So, if you want to get a public feeling of this piece of shit named Ed Troyer, which is the sheriff of Pierce County, if you want to get a public feeling of him, I could play this video for you. You know, he's very, what should I say? Welcoming. You know, he's very receiving. Like he can gather a crowd. Okay, you know, he likes to be funny and shit. But within minutes, he basically explains how much of a piece of shit he is. I'm gonna play the video. Play this joint for you right here.
Well, it's been a crazy year, and I so appreciate you coming.
I appreciate being here, and it doesn't seem like a hostile crowd. It's not like that every day.
You have your
That's Ed Troyer on the left, Pierce County Sheriff.
best time?
No, I'm kidding. No, but I got my guys out front.
It might be funny that he said that. He said, the host asked him, "Do you have your vest on?" He said, "Nah, but I got my guys out front." Just like he did that night when he was fucking with Mr. Alzheimer. Okay, he just picked up. They were a phone call away, and they came through blazing. Okay, they came through hard. Guns withdrawn and everything.
You have your vest on?
No, I'm kidding. No, but I got my guys out front.
That's right.
Living metal detectors.
Forget about it. Okay. Well, you know, I like to say what has happened is basically defunded the police in a roundabout way. Let's talk about morale. Let's talk about some of the challenges you're facing.
Well, what's interesting is defunding the police usually started up in King County, right? And look how well that's worked for them. It's interesting that everybody wanted to defund the Seattle police. And when they did that, we had about 50, 60 Seattle officers that live in Pierce County come down here and apply for Pierce County. We hired 12 of them, cream of the crop. Not the rest. They didn't pass our background because our standards are higher. So we got really good, kick-ass Seattle cops working for Pierce County. That's the first thing.
So basically what he's saying is all the pieces of shit, okay, that couldn't hang with the reform that went down in Seattle, all the pieces of shit rolled down south to Pierce County. I mean, speaking of Washington State, ladies and gentlemen, all the way out Pacific Northwest, okay? All the pieces of shit rolled downhill to Pierce County. And piece of shit, top cop of them all, Sheriff Troyer, Ed Troyer, he received them. Come on in, buddy. Come on in. He let them all in. And, you know, we can understand why there's been a significant rate of brutality going on in Pierce County. We've been witnessing a few incidents that happened within the past few years.
So they lost 280 officers. Now they're seeing how well that goes because Jenny Durkin just announced last week she's signing a $15,000 bonus for anybody who comes back or will join the Seattle Police Department. So they're an experiment of their own failure that shows that's not ever going to work. So they did the work for us there. And I think if most of you followed the election, throughout my election, I originally stated, don't King County or Pierce. don't King County our peers. And I made some enemies doing that. And I had a lot of people came after me after that. One of the other things that we did is I think that a lot of you heard about the blue line, meaning to support the police and the blue line sticker. And some people have
Listen to this right here. This is how he explains that he's a cold-blooded piece of shit. He's part of a gang, and he don't give a fuck about nobody else except for the people that's part of that gang.
banned that from the departments. We didn't. Our Pierce County guys are still have the blue line.
I'm gonna take that back real quick.
And the blue line sticker. And some people have banned that from the departments. We didn't. Our Pierce County guys are still have the blue line. We have guys that are buried here that have that blue line on their coffin. We're not ever going to ban that. We're not going to ban that.
So basically, they're still memorializing those who died with the blue line. Because once you go down with the blue line, once you down with the blue line, you go down with the blue line. Okay, forever. You're forever united with the blue line. But not only are they still memorializing those who've fallen by going down on the blue line, but they still promoting the blue line gang.
Eggs from the cars or any of that nonsense. And that's why we have a lot of military guys that work for us, and that's why I think that we've attracted some natural enemies down here.
What does it look like policing Pierce County? What per capita compared to other areas?
So the average per capita police officer in the country is 1 point officers per 1,000 people. In the state of Washington, it's about 1.2. Our department's 0.64 per 1,000 people. So if we doubled in size, we still would not have the national average of deputies per citizen ratio.
And if you notice, the whole time, ladies and gentlemen, this is nothing old, okay? This is well within, right after his situation with Alzheimer. If you look at the bottom of the screen, I'm going to erase that comment real quick. Shout outs to Alvin. Appreciate you. He says the crazy ish about it is there in a church, and he's talking about he hired some kick-ass cops. Wow, that's crazy. Shout out for Alvin for that comment. But I'm going to take that down. If you look right here, he's begging for money. Help share out. Help reach up to 200 people. Okay? Not only that, this is a whole ad to collect money. Look, if you see right here, it says donate. Okay? Got his picture up. And I'm going to read this to you. We can get back to the video. But I just want to read this to you. This is what they promote in this ad right here. It says, Sheriff Ed Troyer has been a dedicated law enforcement official for decades, and he needs our donations. He is being pursued by the most corrupt state attorney general in the country, Bob Ferguson, is an entirely political attack. Sheriff Troyer didn't shoot anyone. He didn't put hands on anyone. Troyer didn't arrest anyone. Sheriff Troyer called the police on a suspicious vehicle. Who was in the vehicle, you ask? Only a convicted felon. Oh, wait, do you see that, ladies and gentlemen? You see how they snatched that? Let me refresh that. Wow, is that on purpose? Let me refresh that. Okay, here we go. I'm fighting through the wires on this one. I got to get this out of here. They trying to snatch him down. Listen, they say, look, I got to the juicy part. They said only a convicted felon with an active warrant out for his arrest. Look what they promoting. Not the fact that he called and made lies on the 911 call. Now, they ain't saying that. This is what they promote. And they say, regardless, it seems clear that Ferguson intends to use a woke media, race baiting, and our taxpayers' dollars to threaten Sheriff Troyer's career. Using the limitless budget of the state, Ferguson has the ability to bankrupt our sheriff. The heat is on him. The heat is on him, ladies and gentlemen. This is no game. They're not playing with him. Okay? They not playing with this dude. The heat is on. I don't see how he won't go down for something. Like, he has to go down. The abuse of the 911 call, that was crazy. That was crazy. So I'm gonna get back to the video. I don't even know why I played the music. Let's get back to the video to just a little bit more. You can see where this dude Troyer is coming from, just from a police basis.
Not the rest. They didn't pass our back. We're going to ban that. We're not going to ban flags from the cars or any of that nonsense. And that's why we have a lot of military guys that work for it. I think that we've attracted some natural enemies down here.
Yeah. What does it look like policing Pierce County? What per capita compared to other areas?
So the average per capita police officer in the country is 1 point officers per 1,000 people. In the state of Washington, it's about 1.2. Our department's 0.64 per 1,000 people. So if we doubled in size, we still would not have the national average of deputies per citizen ratio. And that doesn't include the cities. That's just unincorporated Pierce County. So we have a lot of guys that wear a lot of hats. You see our guys driving SUVs. They're also divers. They're also on the SWAT team. They have multiple talents. And same with our detectives. Every one of us do multiple jobs. And, I couldn't be
Ed Troyer, sheriff
we're
out of
handling
Pierce
through this
County,
because
ladies and
instead of
gentlemen,
saying
Washington
what
State.
we can't do, we're going to stick with what we can do. Yeah, and one of the things
this is him just talking all big on policing, what they're going to do to get better with policing and, attack crime. But
we're still going to go with the lesson.
in the meanwhile, he's got a big case going on against him because he wants to profile a black man for whatever drunk reason. That's right. I said it, whatever drunk reason. Because this is his watering hole right here. This is where he likes to drink. He loves it here. Listen, they say he sucked up so much they have to pre-order shit for him because when he's there for between a few hours, he sucks them out dry. They say he gets down when it comes to drinking. This is what I hear allegedly. Okay? I got a lot of, contacts with Tacoma. There are a few videos out there. A few people that know him closely. This is what they told me.
35 years, and they had their way of doing policing, and now they're not because they don't want to risk it. It's hard to recruit and get younger people to come do the job when things have just changed dramatically, and we're trying to keep our people to keep our heads up and say things are going to change. Go out and do your job. If you do it right, we have your back. Pierce County will have your back. Don't listen to the nonsense that's going on up in King County. And I know I say a lot about King County, but this is where most of this started at. It all started.
For those who don't know, when he speaks about King County, he's mainly talking about Seattle. Okay, Pierce County is just south of Seattle. The city of Tacoma is south of Seattle as well, and there's many other little towns within Federal Way, Lakewood. Got a lot of towns within Pierce County, but he is talking shit on King County. That's because he's south of King County and Pierce County.
There, and I heard one of the earlier talks about us being the gateway of moving south. And we're going to be a strong gateway, and we're going to keep our people strong, and we're going to make them use their tools and do what they do best, and that's keep us safe. For many years, it was always.
I know his idea of keeping people safe. He want to make false 911 calls. We're going to get into the audio. We're going to listen to this shit, okay? And the nerve for these pieces of shits that's hosting this whatever ceremony, whatever they got going on, to have him up here to even fucking speak after what he did. And y'all can share this to whoever you want to. I hope Ed fucking Troyer is looking at this shit right now. Okay? And I heard he has a black wife. I hope his black wife is cringing every moment that they bring up her funky husband.
The police do it. Mental health, homeless, sex offenders, all that stuff's new to us. And when they couldn't figure out what to do with it, let the police do it. Hey, I love our co-responder program. We have a co-responder program. We have 5 mental health workers working with our deputies, out driving with them to handle mental health calls. During my campaign, I said I'd like to double that. Well, we're up to 9 now. So, of course, we should have mental health workers handling mental health calls. Let the police do the police work. Same with social services. We find homeless people, people that are in need, people are in services. Let's get social workers out there to take care of it and let our people go do police work. This is what they're all screaming for. Let's give it to them. But let's not deeply.
Very big on police work, but we need to be big on about what you did to that man, Mr. Alzheimer, that night when you called the police and said all those goddamn lies.
Police and let criminals go. There's a big difference. I know you all have big hearts and want to help people. Yeah. Right.
Talk about maybe some of the unique challenges, like maybe somebody that's in their house, they're suicidal, they have a weapon, fire department, they don't know what to do. What happens right now under current law?
Well, what we're doing is that's where we're bringing our mental health pros out to those calls. They've talked a lot of people down from suicide, people armed in the middle of intersections, and our deputies love it. And that's why they call on them so much, and that's why we're doubling the program. And we'll continue to do that with other directions we need to go with specialists in the field. That's how we're going to move forward and let the cops.
Well, where's the specialist on his fucking case? Okay, you know, I'm open for motherfucking medical to look over his ass as well, because you know you have to. If you're that fucked up from drinking, okay, if you're that fucked up with drinking, where your ego is so through the roof that you think that you could come from your favorite drinking spot and come home and just fuck with the newspaper, man, okay? And make all types follow him and shit. This man trying to take care of his family. He ain't got no time for you to be fucking with him. He trying to take care of his family and pay his bills. And this is how immature police officers are. You can be the sheriff, you can be the captain, you can be the chief of police. You can be on the FBI. They dumb as a box of rocks. He's gonna fuck with this man and follow him. Make all types of lying ass calls on to 911, the backup channel. He ain't called straight through. He called because he's the sheriff. He could call the backup channel. And he said all these lies, had all these police officers come out and fuck with him, guns drawn, and he ain't do a damn thing. Not only that, he follows him again after the shit was in court proceedings. He had to pay $100,000. That's why ain't nobody talking about this dude? Why ain't nobody talking about this guy? You know, he talked about on the local news and everything. This is why I'm there all the way in Boston, Massachusetts. But see, and I'm probably only doing it because I got a little connect over there in Pierce County. But nobody's talking about this cold-blooded piece of shit that's fucking with this black man. Now, there's no accountability that should happen. He's saying that, you know, the DA is, you know, coming at him, you know, with all types of shit that's unwarranted. But it's bullshit. No, you misused the 911 call. Okay? You fucked that man over, and you need to be held accountable. This is why I'm putting it out there. Look at this piece of shit. Looks like a fucking geek. Every picture, he looks like a geek. Every one. He always been a geek. That was some geek shit that he did to Mr. Alzheimer. You don't do no shit like that to nobody. And you the sheriff, you need to be ashamed of yourself. That's crazy.
The cops, let them do police work. When somebody breaks in your house, I want my people to be available to show up when you call 911. Yeah. You know, we don't need them spending 4 or 5 hours trying to find services for somebody who's homeless for the 5th time. And then 2 nights
we
later,
don't need nobody spending extra resources on your lot. We don't need the taxpayers spending extra money on resources because of your lies, Sheriff piece of shit Ed Troyer. One man that didn't do nothing wrong. How much did you cost the county that night? Huh? Or the city of Tacoma? For those lies that you told. He going up in people's property and all that shit. He threatened your life. Why aren't we talking about that? This is the reason why I'm broadcasting, to talk about that. We gonna get to that nitty gritty shit. When he threatened my life. Hey, you lying motherfucker. He ain't did a motherfucking thing but deliver those newspapers like he do every night.
we find them again. That's a Band-Aid. We need a permanent fix, and that's going to be tying in with social services, the community, nonprofits, and volunteer groups. And they're our backbone. You know, we have 300-something deputies, but we got thousands of people that support us through many organizations. Crime Stoppers, Charlie's Dinosaur, Toys for Tots, Marine Veterans, they all come volunteer for a lot of stuff we do to take care of a lot of that. And I'd love to see those programs expanded throughout the community.
You know, we had a meeting, I don't know, a little over a month ago, and you were talking about how you didn't want to see the pendulum, like there's been an overcorrection because of this, as Representative Walsh said, the heart. There's been an overcorrection in the laws of law enforcement. And you said, you know, there needs to be a correction, but you didn't want to see an overcorrection.
Correct. So if the pendulum's way up here, it's starting to swing back. If it swings back too far, we're in the same spot.
Yeah.
So we got to find the middle ground and work it out amongst us all. What's going to work and how we're going to get.
What needs to happen is the pendulum need to knock you in your ass and get you up out of there for all the dumb shit that you caused. Okay, now you standing up, trying to do press conferences, whatever the fuck you doing, and you trying to look like you all polished and smooth and not trying to face that bullshit that you did last year in January 2021. That was fucked up. And you got to be held accountable for that, no matter if you're fucking law enforcement or not, especially if you're law enforcement. You need to be held accountable for every single thing that you did that night. You're a cold-blooded piece of shit, and it's just straight-up reality, okay? And like I said, I will reiterate, I heard that you have a black wife because that was mentioned because they said that the whole situation wasn't racial, okay? I don't know if it is or if it isn't. But mighty funny that you ain't never fucked with no white newspaper carriers, okay? And this motherfucker has been delivering those newspapers within your neighborhood for years. But you want to fuck with him. And you said, no, it has nothing to do with race. I have a black wife. Well, if you do, I hope your black wife is cringing every moment your dumb ass is in the media.
Services and how we're going to fix some of the laws that have just messed everything up. Our canine, a really quick example, you probably all know because you live out here, we had a homicide of a young man, a good young man at Kohl's last week, and we could not deploy the canine. And I can't tell you a lot of the details, but the kid was shot multiple times and somebody ran away. Our canine got there. We could not deploy the canine because of the new laws. So luckily, we had some good detectives that kind of acted like a dog, the canine dog, spent 4 days awake, chased the suspect down. We got him. We have him in custody. But what happens between the time it occurred and 4 days later? Do we lose another life? We don't know. So we need some of our tools back. And when we get our tools back, they're not. It wasn't thought through well. We've heard that very many times, and there was not a lot of police involvement on why we should or could or couldn't do things. There's actually something silly written into one of the new laws, because some of these House bills are 300 pages. There's actually something written in laws that we're not allowed to arm our drones. Well, first, we don't have drones, you know, other than to look at traffic wrecks and searching people. And we would never arm a drone. I don't even know if there's such thing that you could arm a drone. Russia. But yeah, we can't. So don't worry, we can't arm our drones. And When I was talking to the county council in the last study session,
he might not be able to arm his drones, but he has armed police, and he definitely can sick them on anyone that he wants to by just a phone call. Okay, his voice is only a phone call away. And luckily, he didn't have a radio. He was off duty. He didn't have a radio, but it'd have been faster with the radio. Made that phone call out on that man like that. He's up against a $5 million lawsuit and just had to pay $100,000 to stay out of jail for unlawful harassment. Still following the man.
and I said, you know, those drones can make it to the 7th floor. Just further access. Be careful.
Real funny dude.
A couple of them got it, and the others looked a little scared. I said, no, we don't have drones, let alone armed drones. So it's not a thing.
Well, you know, you talk about the canine. That's a de-escalation tool. Number one. Number two, you're not putting an officer at risk. I mean, these are powerful tools that have essentially defunded in a roundabout.
Shouts to Rhonda. I looked for a picture of him and his wife. I typed in so many keywords. I couldn't find anything of his wife. I definitely looked.
Crazy lunatics want to shoot everybody, okay? And that's a lie. Because and the reality is you can't reason with the far left. They have an agenda and they will not negotiate. They won't. And so I wanted you to hear your sheriff's heart, that this is a human being that has a heart for our community and a heart for our officers. And
so this is donation page. One Washington, Sheriff Ed Troyer by One Washington. I guess this is the people who did this whole production right here. Most of the comments are negative. Negative in a good way, that he needs to be held accountable for what he did. His accusations may be unfounded, but his service to the community is documented. Remove your myopic political goggles. His accusations may be unfounded. That's somebody that's for him, I guess. Accusations, in my opinion, is founded because he made the statement on the 911 call that the man threatened his life, that the man went up on his property and in other neighbors' property. Come on, man.
So I'm glad that what they did is they went down and educated people, and that worked.
Anonymous says, so Ed lied and tried to get a delivery guy killed. Then he ignored his release conditions and stalked and harassed the guy he tried to have killed. Another anonymous person says, you just wanted $500 on someone who doesn't care if you are alive or dead. I hope he spends some serious time behind bars, dummy. Unbelievable. This guy has $21.60 in donations. He is absolutely the worst of the worst and should be in jail. And that's true. He can't even raise money. Oh, I mean, what he did was so crazy. $2,160. He has a $75,000 goal. This is Ed Troyer, Pierce County Sheriff. And I just don't understand why more people ain't talking about it. Hopefully y'all can share this and, get the country to start talking about this piece of shit, because he is America's most hated piece of shit right now. With all the fury that's going on within Pierce County and all the negativity that's directed to him for what he started over a year ago, he's one of the hated motherfuckers in America right now. That's why I titled it the way I did.
Which was our narcotics unit, which we've changed direction. If we can't go after the drugs and narcotics.
Ed Troyer is a racist thug with a badge and a gun. He is the kind of cop that is hated and given very little respect due to his tyrannical motivations. This dude is a scumbag. Anyone donating to Troyer supports racism. Supporting a racist? You are supporting a liar. Do you idiots realize that the badge is an honor to wear and not a privilege? 99.999% of Tacoma PD lie, abuse, bully, and harass. Who has confidence? Y'all remember that incident that happened last year? It was either late 2020 or early 2021. It was a big, large gathering in Tacoma. It was drag racing going on. They keep snatching the video. You see that, y'all? They don't want nobody. They don't want us to see this video. They keep snatching it.
Agenda, and they will not negotiate. They won't. And so
investigative unit, which was our narcotics unit, which we changed.
And of course, he's not going to speak about his situation. They can't speak about open investigations, of course, but he's going to talk about how to do good policing and what they're doing better than King County, which is north to them, Seattle. He talks about that, but of course, he's not going to be asked the questions about how he fucks up policing on a regular basis. Most notably, most recently, in January 2021, he has a $5 million lawsuit against him. And he just bailed out for $100,000 because he couldn't stop fucking with the man. He had to keep following him. And that's facts.
Direction. If we can't go after the drugs and narcotics, because even though they're legal, they're not free. The state's not handing out free drugs. They're not giving out money to buy drugs. So you know how they're getting the money to buy drugs? The old fat. Your stuff. And doing that type.
This guy right here, he says, have you all listened to the 911 call he made? The lies, the total racist remarks. They asked what kind of car the paper guy was driving as he was delivering newspapers. And this piece of shit say some truck-looking homeless thing. I'm not woke. My father was a cop. I support the blue, but this guy deserves what he is getting. He is a disgrace to the badge. What's funny is a lot of people that support the blue don't like this piece of shit right here. They don't like this piece of shit. A lot of people, because he fucked up. He fucked up.
It's being shipped to Chicago and New York, where it's still illegal. It's not even hitting the streets here, but it's causing terrible problems for neighborhoods. So we're going to go after that. And we have a lot of different things that we're going to go after the next year. And
Ed Troyer is indeed a racist. Anyone who donate to this cause is one by association. Ed Troyer is indeed a racist. Okay, they spammed that. Ed Troyer is a racist. Ed Troyer is a racist.
So far-reaching that they try to overwhelm us.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Ed Troyer.
And I just love the fact that we are not going to be caught unaware and that we're not going to be taken advantage, because we will speak up, we will rise up, and we will stand up. So, Sheriff, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all. Appreciate your support so much.
Once again, I was Sheriff Ed Troyer, Pierce County. But it's not over with quite yet, ladies and gentlemen. Not quite yet. Hold on to your seats. Just a little bit more. Read some more on this $100,000 bail situation. Judge revokes release of Pierce County Sheriff Ed Troyer, orders $100,000 bail. Pierce County Sheriff Ed Troyer had to post $100,000 bail to stay out of jail today as he awaits trial for charges of false reporting. This was reported on July 2nd, 2 weeks ago. A Pierce County District Court judge called Sheriff Ed Troyer a substantial danger to the community. Pierce County Sheriff Ed Troyer says he'll fight AG's misdemeanor charges. Cairo 7 TV reports that this all began last year when Troyer called 911 on Cedric Altimer, a newspaper carrier in his neighborhood. Troyer was subsequently charged with 2 misdemeanors, false reporting, and making a false statement to a civil servant, with a trial date set for July 11th. Last month, a judge ordered Troyer, this is old, so I think that date got postponed. Last month, a judge ordered Troyer to stay 1,000 feet away from Altimer after Altimer claimed Troyer had been following him. And, all right, last but not least, let's just listen to this. And we can sign out on this one. Once again, if y'all want to call up, y'all can. 857-217-4031. Y'all want to sound off on this piece of shit? Call up, say what y'all need to say.
Radio.
Hey, it's Troy.
What can I do for you?
I'm at 27 in Deidre in Tacoma in North End, about 2 blocks from my house, and I caught someone in my driveway who just threatened to kill me, and they blocked him in. He's here right now.
Okay. Go again with your address.
Well, my address is...
Okay.
And he's in some sort of gray car, and he was in my driveway, in my neighbor's driveway, and he knows who I am, and he threatened to kill me, and I got him blocked in at 27
Okay.
Deidre. I think it's played as... I really need just 1 or 2 people here first.
Absolutely. I'm getting the call right now. Okay.
I think it's played as... Well, my address is...
Okay.
And he's in some sort of gray car, and he was in my driveway, in my neighbor's driveway, and he knows who I am, and he threatened to kill me, and I got him blocked in.
There you go, right there. Right there, within the first 31 seconds of the call, he made a false statement and said that the man tried to kill him. That right there should have got him knocked off his seat. Okay, abusing the 911 system by having resources dispatched to a false crime. Right there is enough for him to be knocked off his square.
27
Okay.
Deidre. I think it's played as... I really need just 1 or 2 people here first.
Absolutely. I'm getting the call right now.
He's not going to let me leave.
Okay. Does he have a gun or anything?
I have no idea. He looked homeless in his car, but he was in my driveway, and I got my car, and he was in my neighbor's driveway, tried to get my garage.
Okay.
Yeah, and so I got him blocked in. I'm in a white Tahoe.
So he's saying he got blocked in, basically trying to say that his civil rights were violated by, being held somewhere against his will. That's not true. That's not true. He was following that man, and when that man stopped and asked, was it a problem? Well, what he really asked him was, are you a cop? He didn't answer that. So should Ed Troyer try to use that situation as if he's blocking him in? All straight lies.
My own personal white Tahoe. He's taking pictures and video and music.
Okay. I've got units headed your way.
I just need 1 or 2 to equip. He was in my neighbor's houses and sorry, but...
No, you're good.
I think they found me. All right.
Okay. Stay on the phone with me.
My neighbor's houses and
He was in my neighbor's houses and climbing. Climbing on what? The man has a vehicle with a shitload of newspapers in him. Okay? At most, he got to open his car door, get up, so he can aim the paper near the step or at least in the lawn. Most of the time, he's chucking them shits out his window. So how is this dude climbing on people's property?
Okay. I've got units headed.
he's taking pictures and video and music.
Okay.
And now I believe that's true because Ed Troyer was fucking with him, and that was right after the George Floyd incident and all that shit went down. A lot of us, including me, and a lot of the people were promoting, pull your camera out and record whenever you got stuff going on, especially with law enforcement. I believe he was video and recording because Ed Troyer was fucking with him.
I've got units headed your way.
I just need 1 or 2 to equip. He was in my neighbor's houses and
He can't even finish the statement because it's such a lie. He was in my neighbor's houses and climbing.
He was in my neighbor's houses and
What?
sorry, but
No, you're good.
I think they found me. All right.
Okay. Stay on the phone with me though, okay? Just so I can make sure.
I don't want to hang up. I'm trying to back up and let him go, but he blocked me in.
Okay. And what kind of car is he in?
I don't know, some sort of beat up charcoal homeless looking Beyond. I gave you the plate number.
Yeah.
Black Netflix.
So that definitely was
Beyond
prejudice right there. That was definitely a prejudice statement he just made.
I don't know, some sort of beat up charcoal homeless looking Beyond. I gave you the plate number.
Yeah.
Black Netflix. I'd be polite to him, and he just says I'm a racist and wants to kill me. So I don't want anything other than him to let me go home. Which is which I just came out of my house.
Anybody else with him, Chief?
No. I'm not mad at him or anything, but I think he might have one of those garage door openers because he pulled into 4 or 5 different houses around the neighborhood and tried to hit the garage door opener button.
Yeah.
He framed this story as if he didn't have no idea that this is the dude who delivers his paper for years, okay? But he lives along the man's route. Why he decided to fuck with this dude, I have no idea. Maybe he didn't recognize him at first. But whatever happened, he did not recognize any threat or violence from this man. And he has to be held accountable. Pierce County Sheriff Ed Troyer, Washington State, ladies and gentlemen. His stomping grounds is right here. This is where he likes to drink at. This is his spot right here. El Toro's. 26 in Highland. Cross Street is Highland Street. This is his spot right here. El Toro's restaurant. This is where he like to drink. And I believe, I'm saying it out my mouth, I believe before he ran into Mr. Alzheimer, this is where he came from. He sounds drunk. If you listen to him, he sounds drunk.
My house I'm doing remodels. There's so much room, and there's no room in the driveway, so he tried it everywhere else. So he's looking for me.
Okay.
I'm still here. I'm backing up. He's pushing against my car, so I'm just backing up. 27 feet.
Okay, they should be there shortly, too.
Deidre? So weird. It's like one of those bizarre stare downs. He's just staring at me with headlights on.
Okay.
I'm glad we're a couple blocks from my house. Because we're killing me. Sorry.
Thanks. You hear the officers?
No, I don't hear anything.
Once again, just like the McMichaels, he's following a non-violent man. Only difference is that Mr. Alzheimer isn't jogging. He's in his vehicle delivering papers.
It's a weird photo, no. Pointing out to just be 2 blocks above my house.
Okay.
No. He's taking video and pictures of me. It's just him alone. It's so weird.
Okay. Did he give you his name or anything?
No, he just said that I was home and saw the lights coming in on the house and everything. I looked and he was like pulling in all the driveways. And I thought maybe it was one of those guys that's like kind of a thief that has a garage door opener.
Yeah.
And so I went out and followed him and he blocked me off and accosted me and said, "You're a cop." And he tried to threaten me, which is not a big deal, but it's part of our deal now, right?
Apparently, yeah.
I mean, he literally blocked me in. And
so from some inside reports is that the police officers had asked after they had showed up to the call, they had asked Ed Troyer again, was he threatened? Did the man threaten his life? And he admitted that Mr. Alzheimer didn't threaten his life.
Okay.
Right behind you.
Okay, good.
Yeah, so the first cop is right there. Yeah. So, okay.
Okay, well, if they're well with you, I'll let you go, okay?
Thank you. Coma's
You
good.
betcha. Okay, great.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, bye.
In a developing story tonight, Pierce County Sheriff Ed Troyer is facing accusations of racial profiling and lying.
And tonight there are calls for Troyer's resignation after the release of a 911 call the sheriff made back in January. In that call, he accuses a black newspaper carrier in his neighborhood of threatening him. Cable Team Steve Giggins is tracking the story from Pierce County.
And he's in some sort of gray car, and he was in my driveway, in my neighbor's driveway. And he knows who I am, and he tried to kill me, and I got him blocked in.
The Seattle Times obtained this audio from the call back in late January. It's in Tacoma's North End. The call from Pierce County Sheriff Ed Troyer. It's in the dispatch where he alleges he began to trail someone he believed may have been trying to break in the garage.
He's taking video and pictures of me. It's just him alone. That's it.
Okay. Did he give you his name or anything?
Now he just said that he don't. I was home and saw the lights coming in on the house and everything, and looked, and he was like pulling in all the driveways.
Seattle Times reports the man Troyer was pursuing his block and was delivering newspapers at 2 o'clock in the morning. It's a job he's done repeatedly without issue for years. Friday morning, Pierce County Executive Bruce Dameyer called the reporting alarming and acknowledged disproportionate policing among the black community and need for reform. Then the county council said the reporting caused concern, and its members take the incident seriously and look forward to learning more. Sheriff Ed Troyer released a statement late this afternoon saying in part that he stood by his initial 911 call reporting verbal threats. Troyer added Tacoma police looked into the events that day and concluded their investigation. TBD told Q13 News exactly that, citing no crime had been committed by the delivery man, and Troyer claimed threatened him. Troyer went on to say he feels sad the man he confronted felt treated unfairly. The sheriff welcomed further inquiry into the events, and he planned to continue working with the community to ensure racial bias isn't a part of the department. But Tacoma Action Collective, the group that fights for equity for all who encounter South Sound law enforcement, they believe Troyer should step aside.
I think it's pretty on brand for not just Ed Troyer, but for the Pierce County Sheriff's Department. They've had a history of anti-black surveillance, of white vigilantism. Like, it just, they show up in communities with the idea that they are somehow above the communities that they are there to protect.
Steve Kiggins, Q13 News.
Well, also today, Sheriff Troyer defended himself. He appeared on the Dory Munson Show on Cairo Radio, and here is part of that conversation.
So, did this guy threaten to kill me?
Yeah, what he said was, he told me he was going to take me out. And when he said he was going to take me out, and with his anger and everything, I backed up and I was not going to engage with him, and that's when I called dispatch. The wording may be different, but I felt like he was threatening me when he said he was going to take me out. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. I don't know who he is. He told me he was going to take me out. And when he said he was going to take me out, and with his anger and everything, I backed up and I was not going to engage with him, and that's when I called dispatch. The wording may be different, but I felt like he was threatening me when he said he was going to take me out. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. I don't know who he is. He had never told me he was delivering newspapers, and that's why I called the police and said what I said. He also knew who I was because he was calling me Mr. Sheriff. He was calling me Mr. Sheriff, and also that the only reason I was there is because he was a black man in a white person's neighborhood.
Did you hear that? He just said that the man knew who he was. He's the newspaper man, deliver the papers every night in the middle of the night. What are you saying? He's going to be violent to the sheriff and he knows he's the sheriff? Come on, man.
Well, the Tacoma mayor, Victoria Woodard, also responded to the controversy, calling the incident involving Sheriff Troyer deeply concerning. She told us she is waiting to learn more about what happened on that night in January as new information comes forward.
In a developing...
Shout out to everybody, man. I appreciate y'all joining in. This was about the piece of shit Ed Troyer from out of the Pacific Northwest. Sheriff of Pierce County, stomping grounds, Tacoma, state of Washington, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all make sure y'all make some noise on this, man. Share this. This is for real. Like, this dude, he causing trouble for nothing, and he's a sheriff. He got to go. Child's Perfect Sense Resistor, Smokes Loud, J Yo-Yo, Abigail Engel, D-Sign, Cajun Randy 214. Appreciate y'all. The gang's all here. William Sharon, Martina's family, Republic, 357 Sig Beats, Mr. Bloody Wolf Guy, Lord of Chronic, KP. Y'all make sure y'all be safe out there and always pull y'all cameras out and record. George Curious, Jonathan Burks, Toby Stewart, Liz Solomon, Rhonda. Appreciate y'all. Be safe.
I'm just a picture in a frame. Pause. I paint word pictures on the canvas of life.
I'm everywhere in public. It's the resistance. I'm just a black man with cameras.